it's very important to have a kind of, you don't want to fall into self-loathing, which is not healthy, but you also don't want to fall into narcissism, which is very unhealthy. So they're both problems, like hating the self, feeling bad about the self, and also being in love with the self. So Raghib said that it's natural to love yourself, and I think you have to. I mean, we should want for others what we want for ourselves, but primarily we have to want for ourselves good. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, save yourselves, وَأَهْلِيكُمْ, and then your families. But the most important thing is yourself. If you haven't saved yourself, then you're wasting your time trying to save anybody else. So from that point of view, it's good. But on the other hand, we have a very unhealthy self-esteem movement, which is making everybody feel good about being completely less than mediocre, achieving nothing. And in reality, people know something's wrong. So they do all this self-esteem. You know, I mean, I saw this because when I was young, you had first place, second place, third place. So, but when my sons were doing martial arts, I went to the first tournament I went with them, and they gave everybody a trophy. And I couldn't even believe it. It's like, what is going on? Everybody got a trophy. And it was all for self-esteem, because kids feel bad that they didn't win. That's the whole problem of the equity movement. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "La tazaru ummati bi khair ma tafawatu." My ummah will remain in a good condition as long as they have differences amongst them. You know, there's sabiqun al-awwalun min al-muhajirin wal ansar. They have a maqam that we'll never achieve. We will never get there. But even amongst them, Abu Bakr had a maqam none of them could get. They couldn't touch him. Omar had a maqam. They couldn't touch him. So even amongst the Sahaba, you know, Amr ibn al-As, he said, he asked the Prophet once, you know, he said that he thought that he was the one that the Prophet loved the most. Because when the Prophet spoke to people, they always thought that they were the most, like, the one he loved the most. And it was genuine, obviously, the Prophet ﷺ, because he gave people his full attention. And so when he asked him, you know, he said Abu Bakr and then Umar, and then he realized, like, I'm way down the list, right? So that's important to know. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, one of a really wonderful Catholic saint, her name is Saint Teresa. She was a French saint, but she was she died very young in a monastery. But she said that she realized that she could never be like the great saints. So she said, because she couldn't do great works. So she decided to do little works with great love. So she's called the saint of little works with great love. And that's the beauty of our deen, is that whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever conditions you're in, you can get close to Allah. You can get close to Allah. But don't envy people. I mean, they're scholars. I wish I had the knowledge that Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayyah has. I wish I had the memory that Sheikh Muhammad Hassan Waldadu has. I wish I had. But I don't envy them. I'm happy for them. Why should I envy them? Allah gave them, but He gave me things, and alhamdulillah, I should be content with what He gave me and ask Him for increase. But I'm, you know, scholars, there's a lot of envy amongst scholars. And it's really sad, because what you're saying is like, why did God give that person that and He didn't give it to me? And Allah knows where He puts His message. So it's important just to be humble, but know that you can get close to a God. You don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to be. I mean, somebody was telling me the other day that, you know, that they weren't praying Taraweeh, you know, and I said, well, just, you know, do 2 rakats with a lot of gratitude and love. You know, just 2. And I quoted what Sheikh Ibn al-Habib said, أسرك بنفسك سبيل الرفق لكي يكون سيرها بالشوق. Go easy on yourself so that your journey is with a lot of passion, like you have a lot of yearning and desire for God. فإن ركعتين من محبي أفضل من ألف من غير حبي. Because 2 rakats done with love is better than 1,000 without love. So, people just should find that, that balance in themselves. Don't fall into self-loathing. There's a wonderful story of Muli al-Arabi, where a man came to him and he said, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. And he said, don't say you're nothing, don't say you're something, say Allah. Because saying I'm nothing, it's like the mu'adhin and the imam, that story. The imam was praying, and then he had an epiphany, fell down, he was just saying Allah, Allah. And then the mu'adhin came in and he said, SubhanAllah, the imam, because he was saying I'm nothing, I'm nothing. And then he said, if the imam thinks he's nothing, what am I? I'm just the mu'adhin. So then he falls down, he's saying, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. So then the guy who sweeps the mosque comes in, and then he sees the imam saying, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. The muezzin saying, I'm nothing. So he falls down, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. So the imam looks at the muezzin and said, look who thinks he's nothing.